The smell of frying bacon at dawn has awakened more British workers than any alarm clock ever made. From the coal mines of Wales to the factories of Manchester, the working man's table tells a story of resilience, resourcefulness, and remarkable flavor born from necessity. Bubble and squeak. Monday's magic trick that transformed Sunday's leftovers into something entirely new and delicious. Leftover vegetables, usually cabbage, Brussels sprouts, carrots, and potatoes, get chopped and fried together until crispy and golden. The name comes from the sounds it makes while cooking, bubbling and squeaking in the pan like a happy conversation. This dish embodied the working-class principle that nothing should go to waste. Sunday, roast vegetables gained new life through careful seasoning and patient frying. The crispy bits provided textural contrast, while the soft centers delivered familiar flavors. Often topped with a fried egg or served alongside cold roast meat, it proved that creativity could turn leftovers into something people actually craved rather than merely tolerated. Full English breakfast. The king of all working man's meals stands undefeated in British hearts. This isn't just breakfast. It's a declaration of intent for the day ahead. 2 rashers of back bacon sizzle alongside plump pork sausages, while black pudding releases its rich, earthy aroma. Baked beans bubble in their tomato sauce, fried eggs wait with golden yolks ready to burst, and grilled tomatoes add their sweet acidity. Buttered toast stands ready to mop up every precious drop. This meal powered dock workers through 12-hour shifts and gave miners the strength to descend into darkness. It's more than food. It's armor against whatever the day might bring. Fish and chip. Friday night meant one thing in working-class Britain: the pilgrimage to the chippy. Golden cod, wrapped in crispy batter alongside thick-cut chips, all doused in malt vinegar and sprinkled with salt. This meal transcended class boundaries, but belonged to the working man in spirit. Newspaper wrapping kept it hot, while families walked home through cobbled streets. The fish flaked away in perfect white chunks, while the chips provided comforting starch after long factory shifts. Mushy peas added color and texture, creating Britain's most beloved takeaway. Born from necessity when fresh fish met affordable potatoes, it became a national treasure that still draws queues on Friday nights across the country. Bangers and mash. Simple ingredients transformed into pure comfort through working-class ingenuity. Pork sausages, nicknamed bangers for their tendency to explode in wartime rationing, rest atop a mountain of creamy mashed potatoes. Rich onion gravy flows down the sides like a savory waterfall. This meal spoke to men who worked with their hands and needed fuel that would last. The sausages provided protein, while the potatoes delivered lasting energy. Prepared by wives who understood that presentation mattered even on tight budgets, it elevated humble ingredients into something that felt like a feast. The gravy tied everything together, making each forkful a perfect blend of flavors that satisfied both hunger and soul. Beans on toast. The ultimate emergency meal that became a beloved staple. Heinz baked beans in tomato sauce ladled over thick slices of buttered toast created magic from simplicity. This wasn't just about convenience, it was about resourcefulness. When money ran short and cupboards grew bare, this combination never failed to satisfy. The beans provided protein and fiber while the toast offered comforting carbs. Salt and pepper elevated the flavors while a pat of butter melted into golden pools. Miners ate it for breakfast, factory workers grabbed it for lunch, and families relied on it for quick dinners. It proved that British cuisine didn't need complexity to deliver satisfaction. Sometimes the simplest combinations create the most lasting memories. Shepherd's pie. Layers tell the story of careful household management and creative use of leftovers. Minced lamb mixed with onions, carrots, and peas forms the foundation, seasoned with Worcestershire sauce and herbs. A blanket of creamy mashed potatoes covers everything, creating golden peaks under the grill. This dish emerged from the need to make expensive meat stretch further while creating something that felt substantial and satisfying. Working wives would prepare it on Sundays, using leftover roast lamb to create Monday's dinner. The vegetables added nutrition and bulk, while the potato topping provided comfort. Each spoonful delivered a complete meal that warmed bodies tired from physical labor and reminded families that home-cooked love could transform simple ingredients into something special. Steak and kidney pie. pastry-wrapped perfection that elevated organ meat into a feast worthy of celebration. Tender chunks of beef mingle with sliced kidneys and rich dark gravy, all encased in golden pastry that shatters at first bite. This pie represented aspiration. It took cheaper cuts and organ meat, then transformed them through skill and patience into something magnificent. The kidneys added depth and richness, while the beef provided substance. Slow cooking melded the flavors into gravy so rich it seemed almost black. The pastry crust kept everything hot and created anticipation with each cut. Served with mashed potatoes and mushy peas, it turned payday into a celebration and proved that working-class cooking could achieve heights of flavor that rivaled any fancy restaurant. Toad in the hole. Yorkshire pudding batter embraces plump sausages in this dish that sounds peculiar, but tastes like heaven. The sausages nestle into the risen batter like sleeping toads in holes, creating a meal that's part comfort food, part conversation starter. The secret lies in getting the pan screaming hot before adding the batter, creating that dramatic rise that transforms simple ingredients into something magical. Onion gravy pools alongside, ready to soak into every golden crevice. This dish emerged from Yorkshire kitchens, where waste was unthinkable and creativity was essential. It stretched expensive sausages further while creating something that felt special enough for Sunday dinner. The contrast between crispy exterior and soft interior, between rich sausage and light batter, created textural interest that elevated humble ingredients into memorable meals. Beef stew with dumplings. Winter afternoons demanded this slow-cooked symphony of comfort. Chunks of beef shoulder brown in heavy pots before vegetables join the dance. Carrots, onions, celery, and potatoes creating a rainbow of nutrition. Hours of gentle simmering transform tough meat into fork-tender morsels, while the vegetables break down into rich, satisfying spoonfuls. Fluffy dumplings float on top like clouds, soaking up the savory broth below. This wasn't fast food. It was patient food, requiring time and attention that working wives gave gladly. The long cooking process filled homes with aromas that welcomed workers back from cold, difficult days. Each bowl provided complete nutrition and warming comfort, proving that time invested in cooking paid dividends in satisfaction and family happiness. Corned beef hash. Canned corned beef finds new purpose mixed with diced potatoes and onions in this hearty skillet meal. The ingredients fry together until the potatoes develop golden edges and the corned beef crisps slightly, creating textural interest that elevates simple components. This dish represented practicality at its finest, shelf-stable ingredients that could create a satisfying meal without much preparation. The potatoes provided bulk and comfort, while the corned beef delivered protein and distinctive flavor. Onions added sweetness and depth, tying everything together into harmonious bites. Often topped with fried eggs, it became a complete meal that could stretch food budgets while still satisfying hungry workers. The crispy bottom layer, known as the fond, was often the most prized part, scraped up with eager forks by families who understood that every bit of flavor mattered. Lancashire hot pot. This Northern English classic layers lamb chops with sliced potatoes and onions in a deep dish, creating a meal that's both rustic and refined. The top layer of potatoes turns golden and crispy, while the bottom layers steam gently, absorbing the lamb's rich flavors. Traditionally cooked in tall, narrow pots that fit easily into range ovens, it represents the ingenuity of industrial-era cooking. The dish originated in Lancashire during the cotton mill era, designed to cook slowly while workers labored long shifts. The lamb provides protein, while the potatoes offer sustaining carbohydrates. Onions add sweetness and depth, creating layers of flavor that develop over hours of gentle cooking. Each serving reveals these distinct layers from crispy top to tender bottom, creating a complete meal that satisfied both hunger and the soul's need for comfort after difficult days. Liver and onions. Organ meat reaches its most palatable form when liver meets slowly caramelized onions in this nutritious classic. Calf's liver, sliced thin and quickly seared, retains its tender texture while developing a rich mineral flavor that pairs perfectly with sweet, golden onions. This dish represented both economy and nutrition. Liver was inexpensive but packed with iron and vitamins that working men needed. The key lay in not overcooking the liver, which could turn it tough and bitter. Sweet onions, cooked until jammy and caramelized, balanced the liver's intensity while adding natural sugars. Served with mashed potatoes and perhaps some crispy bacon, it created a meal that nourished hardworking bodies while proving that variety meats could be genuinely delicious when treated with skill and respect. Bread and dripping. The ultimate Depression-era comfort food that turned cooking byproducts into beloved treats. Beef dripping, the fat rendered from Sunday roasts, was spread thick on fresh bread and sprinkled with salt. The dripping carried all the concentrated flavors of the roast, creating an intensely savory spread that satisfied deep cravings for fat and salt. This wasn't poverty food. It was treasure made from what others might discard. The dripping would often include crispy bits of meat and herbs, adding texture and concentrated flavor. Children would beg for these treats, understanding instinctively that something so simple could taste so extraordinary. It represented the working-class genius for finding pleasure and nutrition in unexpected places, turning kitchen scraps into memories that lasted lifetimes. Faggots and gravy. These seasoned pork meatballs wrapped in caul fat represent the pinnacle of nose-to-tail eating. Made from pork offal, breadcrumbs, and herbs, they're formed into balls and wrapped in the lacy caul fat that bastes them as they cook. The result is incredibly flavorful, moist meatballs with a slightly crispy exterior. Served with rich onion gravy and mashed potatoes, they create a meal that's both economical and deeply satisfying. Faggots originated in the Black Country, where industrial workers needed maximum nutrition from minimal cost. The combination of organ meats provided exceptional nutritional density, while the seasoning made them genuinely delicious. Each faggot burst with herbs like sage and thyme, creating complex flavors that proved working-class cooking could achieve remarkable sophistication when necessity demanded creativity and skill. Boiled potatoes with vinegar and butter. Sometimes the simplest preparations reveal ingredients at their most essential and delicious. New potatoes, boiled until just tender, served with nothing more than buttermalt vinegar and salt, created a side dish that often stole the show. The potatoes' earthy sweetness paired beautifully with the sharp vinegar and rich butter, creating a combination that was both refreshing and satisfying. This preparation honored the potatoes' natural flavor while adding just enough enhancement to make each bite interesting. Working families appreciated how this simple preparation could make even basic ingredients feel special. The vinegar added brightness that cut through heavy main dishes, while the butter provided richness and comfort. It represented the British understanding that good ingredients, treated simply and with respect, often surpassed elaborate preparations. Cottage pie, ground beef layered with vegetables and topped with mashed potatoes, creates this comforting casserole that stretches meat to feed entire families. Unlike shepherd's pie, which uses lamb, cottage pie relies on beef mince mixed with onions, carrots, and peas in rich gravy. The potato topping, often piped for special occasions, browns beautifully under the grill. This dish represented careful household management. Expensive meat stretched with vegetables and starch to create filling, nutritious meals. The vegetables added sweetness and nutrients while the gravy tied everything together. The mashed potato topping created anticipation and provided comforting carbohydrates. Each spoonful delivered a complete meal that satisfied working men's need for substantial food, while proving that economical ingredients could create deeply satisfying dinners when combined with skill and care. Pork pie. This pastry-encased cylinder of seasoned pork represents portable perfection for working men's lunches. Hot water crust pastry creates strong walls that hold seasoned minced pork, often including a layer of jelly made from pig's trotters. The result is a complete meal that travels well and tastes even better cold. Pork pies became essential lunch fare for miners, factory workers, and anyone who needed substantial food away from home. The pastry provided structure and carbohydrates, while the pork delivered protein and flavor. The jelly layer, though sometimes controversial, added moisture and richness while helping preserve the filling. Cut into thick slices and served with pickled onions or mustard, it created lunches that sustained hard physical labor while providing genuine eating pleasure rather than mere fuel. Scotch egg. Hard-boiled eggs wrapped in seasoned sausage meat and breadcrumbs, then deep-fried until golden, create this pub snack that's actually a complete meal in disguise. The contrast between the crispy coating, flavorful sausage layer, and creamy egg center provides textural interest with every bite. Originally designed as portable food for wealthy travelers, it was quickly adopted by working men who appreciated its combination of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. The eggs provided essential nutrients, while the sausage meat added flavor and substance. The breadcrumb coating created satisfying crunch and helped preserve the contents. Served with mustard or HP sauce, it became a beloved pub food that could serve as either snack or light meal, proving that sometimes the best food combinations come from unexpected sources. Black pudding. This blood sausage mixed with fat, oatmeal, and spices divides people into passionate lovers and determined avoiders. Those who appreciate it understand its rich, mineral flavor and satisfying texture that comes from the combination of blood, fat, and grain. Sliced thick and fried until crispy outside and creamy inside, it becomes a breakfast staple that provides exceptional nutrition. Black pudding represented the ultimate in waste not, want not cooking, using blood that would otherwise be discarded to create something genuinely nutritious and delicious. The oatmeal added texture and helped bind everything together, while spices like white pepper provided subtle heat. Paired with eggs and bacon, it created breakfast that sustained physical laborers through demanding days while honoring the principle that every part of the animal should be respected and utilized. Plowman's lunch. This cold meal combines cheese, bread, pickles, and chutney into a plate that tells the story of British agriculture and preserved foods. Originally eaten by farm workers in fields, it evolved into a pub staple that celebrates simple ingredients at their best. A chunk of sharp cheddar, thick slices of crusty bread, tangy pickled onions, and sweet pickle or chutney create a combination of flavors and textures that satisfies without requiring cooking. The cheese provided protein and fat, while the bread offered sustaining carbohydrates. Pickles added acidity and crunch that cut through rich cheese, while chutneys contributed sweetness and spice. This meal proved that sophisticated flavor combinations didn't require sophisticated preparation, just good ingredients and understanding of how different tastes complement each other. Bacon sandwich. 2 slices of bread embrace crispy bacon in this simple sandwich that achieves perfection through restraint and quality. The bacon, preferably back bacon rather than streaky, crisps until the edges curl while maintaining tender centers. White bread, lightly buttered, provides the perfect neutral canvas for the bacon's salty, smoky flavors. This sandwich became the ultimate comfort food, perfect for breakfast, lunch, or late-night snacks. The combination of protein, fat, and carbohydrates satisfied immediate hunger, while the familiar flavors provided emotional comfort. Often enhanced with brown sauce or ketchup, it represented food that didn't need to impress anyone. It just needed to taste exactly right. The smell of frying bacon became synonymous with weekend mornings and special occasions, creating memories that lasted lifetimes through simple, perfect execution. Chip Buddy. The ultimate carbohydrate celebration puts hot chips between buttered bread to create a sandwich that shouldn't work, but absolutely does. The contrast between crispy chips and soft bread, enhanced with butter and often brown sauce or vinegar, creates textural interest that elevates simple ingredients. This working-class creation emerged from the need to make chips more filling and portable. The bread absorbed the chip's oil and seasoning while providing additional bulk. Butter added richness, while condiments contributed flavor complexity. Though nutritionists might cringe, those who grew up with chip buddies understand their unique satisfaction, the way the different starches complement each other, and how the familiar flavors provide comfort that transcends mere nutrition. It represented food that made no apologies for being what it was: simple, satisfying, and genuinely delicious to those who understood its unpretentious charms. Meat and potato pie. Pastry encases a filling of diced beef and potatoes in this hearty individual pie that became a staple of working men's lunches. The meat provides protein, while the potatoes add bulk and absorb the rich gravy that binds everything together. Unlike steak and kidney pie, this version keeps things simple and familiar, focusing on the perfect balance between meat and starch. The pastry crust creates anticipation and provides satisfying carbohydrates while protecting the filling. These pies became essential portable food for workers who needed substantial meals away from home. The combination of protein, starch, and fat provided sustained energy, while the familiar flavors offered comfort during difficult workdays. Each bite delivered the taste of home cooking in a convenient, portable form that proved working-class ingenuity could create genuinely satisfying food from basic ingredients. Egg and chips. This simple combination elevates basic ingredients into a meal that satisfies both hunger and soul. A fried egg with its golden yolk sits atop a portion of thick-cut chips, creating a combination where each component enhances the other. The runny yolk provides rich sauce for the chips, while the crispy potatoes offer textural contrast to the creamy egg. This meal became a cafe staple, perfect for workers who needed quick-filling food that didn't require elaborate preparation. The eggs provided high-quality protein, while the chips delivered satisfying carbohydrates. Salt and vinegar often joined the party, adding brightness and enhancing flavors. Simple as it sounds, the combination created something greater than the sum of its parts, comfort food that worked equally well for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, while proving that perfect flavor combinations often come from the most straightforward ingredients. Spam fritters. Slices of spam dipped in batter and deep-fried transform this tinned meat into something unexpectedly delicious. The batter creates a crispy coating that contrasts beautifully with the soft, salty meat inside. This dish emerged during rationing when fresh meat was scarce, but creativity was abundant. The batter added bulk and textural interest, while the frying process created appealing golden color and satisfying crunch. Spam provided protein and distinctive flavor that divided people into lovers and skeptics, but in fritter form, even skeptics often found themselves converted. Served with chips and mushy peas, it created complete meals that proved ingenuity could transform even controversial ingredients into something genuinely enjoyable. The key lay in not taking it too seriously. This was fun food that brought a smile along with satisfaction. Sausage roll. Sausage meat wrapped in puff pastry creates this portable pleasure that works equally well hot or cold. The flaky pastry shatters at first bite, revealing seasoned pork that's been enhanced with herbs and breadcrumbs. These became essential bakery items, perfect for workers' lunches or quick snacks. The pastry provided satisfying carbohydrates, while the sausage meat delivered protein and flavor. Good sausage rolls balance the meat-to-pastry ratio perfectly. Enough meat to satisfy, but not so much that the pastry became soggy. The seasoning made all the difference, with sage, thyme, and pepper, creating complex flavors that elevated simple ingredients. Whether eaten warm from the bakery or cold from a lunchbox, they provided genuine eating pleasure while proving that convenience foods could achieve real quality when made with care and skill.